For 7 long years, Ellie carried the blame, the insults, and the pain she didn't deserve. She almost broke, until one truth changed everything. Let me take you down the lane to where it all began. In Westport, Oregon, a quiet seaside town wrapped in morning fog, privacy was a luxury no one truly had. The ocean carried secrets for miles, but the town never did. Everyone knew your name, your marriage, your struggles, whether the stories were true or not. That was where Ellie Rufus lived. For 7 years, Ellie shared her life with her husband. Back in high school, she was the joy of every gathering, laughing loudly at beach bonfires, dancing whenever music played, full of life and warmth. When she married young, the town smiled approvingly. People expected children quickly. They always do. But time passed. 1 year. 2 years. And then 7 years. And still no child. At first, Tom was patient. He held her after every disappointment and promised things would change. But his patience slowly turned into resentment. His words grew sharp, like little daggers she had to catch with her bare hands. Ellie carried them quietly, letting the blame settle on her shoulders like a heavy winter coat. The town noticed too. Whispers followed her at church gatherings. The warm smiles she once received turned into looks of pity, and then judgment. Invitations to baby showers and family events slowly stopped coming. It was as if her supposed failure was contagious. Ellie withdrew, shrinking into a life of silence and self-doubt. The vibrant, laughing girl from the beach bonfires was gone, replaced by a shadow who tried to make herself invisible. Still, she didn't give up hope. She was a fighter at heart. She sought answers, visiting one professional after another, asking every question she could think of, and following every single piece of advice. She changed her diet, tracked her cycles, and drank bitter herbal teas, all in the hope of a miracle. Each time, she was told the same thing: you're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. There's hope. She would share this news with Tom, her eyes shining with a little bit of that old light. She encouraged him to get checked as well, just to be sure. He always dismissed it, saying he had and that everything was fine on his end. Ellie believed him. Why wouldn't she? So, she blamed herself even more. Maybe it was something the doctors couldn't see. A hidden flaw. A personal failing. By their 7th anniversary, her spirit was tired, worn down to a thread. That night, there was no celebration, no romance. Instead, Tom delivered an ultimatum that shattered what little peace she had left. He sat her down, his face cold and distant, and said if nothing changed within a year, he would move on. A marriage had turned into a deadline. A partnership had become a performance review. Ellie went to bed that night in silence, her heart a cold, heavy stone in her chest. Days blurred into a haze of despair. Then, one rainy Tuesday, while deep cleaning their cluttered bedroom, Tom sighed a mess of crumpled shirts and half-hidden drawers. Ellie's hand brushed against a crumpled envelope tucked away beneath a stack of old magazines. Her heart started pounding. Something felt wrong. It was addressed to Tom, from a medical clinic she didn't recognize. Curiosity mixed with a sense of dread, and she tore it open. What she read changed everything. The page was filled with medical terms, but the message was clear. It was a report detailing Tom's results. It showed a significantly reduced sperm level, well below the typical healthy range. It mentioned other contributing factors, like a vein-related condition and a hormonal imbalance. At the bottom, the report clearly advised assisted fertility treatment as the next logical step. The truth had been hidden from her all along. The challenge they had faced as a couple, the pain she had carried alone, was never her fault at all. Forged papers. 7 years of lies. 7 years of blame. For nothing. Ellie sank to the floor and wept. But these weren't tears of weakness. They were tears of understanding, of relief, of righteous anger. All the years of shame and silence suddenly made sense. She had been carrying a burden that was never meant to be hers. When the tears stopped, a cold, sharp clarity arrived. She slid the paper into her apron pocket, composed herself, and waited. There would be no hysterics, no screaming match. This demanded precision. That evening, Tom came home, completely unaware of the storm that was about to break. Ellie waited until he was settled, then calmly placed the document on the dinner table between them. "I think you should read this," she said, her voice steady. The truth unraveled quickly. Tom's face drained of color as he read the words. He snatched the paper, his eyes darting around wildly. This is fake. You planted it." He sputtered, his panic rising. But Ellie just stood there, confident and calm. She had already made copies. She had already sent them to their parents, to their pastor, to the few people who mattered in their lives, to confirm that the challenge they had faced was never her fault. She had also informed authorities about the deception. The lies had finally caught up with him, and accountability followed. The same community that once whispered about her supposed infertility now watched in stunned silence as the real story surfaced. Tom was taken away to answer for his deceit. In that moment, Ellie didn't choose revenge. She chose peace, dignity, and safety. She chose herself. And she walked away. The days that followed were about healing. Ellie ended the marriage, reclaimed her life, and moved to Portland, leaving the foggy shores of Westport behind. There, in the bustling city, she found her voice again. She started a fertility support blog called Truth Over Torment. She shared her story, raw and unfiltered, and it went viral. Thousands of messages flooded her inbox. "You gave me courage. I thought I was alone. Thank you for speaking up." She had created a safe space for women who had been blamed unfairly, misunderstood, or silenced. Stories poured in from all over the world, and with every story shared, a little more healing happened. Her laughter, once lost, returned. Months later, she met someone new, a man named James who wasn't interested in deadlines or blame, but in respect and partnership. She was skeptical at first, her heart still guarded. But she decided to give love a second chance. They took their time, building trust on a foundation of complete honesty. 3 months later, they started a relationship. 6 months into it, he proposed. They got married, but only after they both went for medical tests together, hand in hand. And then, about a year later, life gave her the most beautiful surprise. Ellie, the woman who was once called barren, became a mother to a beautiful set of twins. One evening, standing by the water, she held her husband's hand and smiled softly. A single tear rolled down her cheek, but this time, it was a tear of joy. She looked at him and said, "Truth always finds its way home." This story teaches us some powerful lessons. First, never carry a burden of blame that isn't yours to bear. Your worth is not defined by other people's expectations or judgments. Second, truth and honesty are the only real foundations for a healthy relationship. Deceit, no matter how long it's hidden, will always cause more pain. And finally, choosing yourself is the most powerful decision you can ever make. It's never too late to reclaim your life, find your voice, and start over. If you're new here, please subscribe for more stories like this. And to everyone who has already subscribed and supports this channel, thank you so much. Thank you for watching CeechTales. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Ellie's story in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next story coming soon.